Hey guys, WhiteFox1225 here, and today we'll be continuing our story of the ESO series with the Thieves Guild. I'll be recapping the questline for you and sharing all the lore from the DLC. I know it's been a while since my last video, things got a bit crazy with work and with COVID, so I'm glad to be back and let's hop right back into it. Your journey starts by running into a young high elf in the local outlaws refuge. She says that she needs help with a difficult heist that pays well but involves a bit of travel. Intrigued by the prospect of coin, the player heads to the local docks with Quen. From there, the two of you depart for Fulstrom Homestead, a manor near Windhelm, owned by a Thane of Eastmarch who's away fighting in the Alliance War. Quen tells you the artifact she intends to steal is known as the Geovescent Skull. She has a buyer lined up in the Thieves Guild of Abaz Landing who's willing to pay a heap of gold for the skull. Once you find it, the plan is to split the proceeds and go on your separate ways, so together you sneak into the manor unseen by the guards. But just as you go to steal the skull, you're confronted by a group calling themselves the Iron Wheel. They also accuse you of stealing a princess's dowry in Abaz Landing.
Today the Iron Wheel brings you to justice.
What? Who are you?
Chief Inspector Ranbeek, we foiled your attempt to steal the Geovescent Skull. Will you also confess to stealing Magnifica Flora's dowry?
What's a Flora?
See, it doesn't matter. Return the Geovescent Skull and surrender, or face the consequences.
No idea what he means. I'll follow your lead.
Obviously, the heist is not going the way you hoped, but from here you have two options. Either fight the guards and spill blood, or surrender. Either way, you'll soon run into a finely dressed Argonian known as Walk Softly. He says he's from the Thieves Guild and kindly helps you escape. Together, the three of you flee Eastmarch and head to Abaz Landing. Once you arrive in Abaz Landing, Walk Softly tells you to head to the Thieves' Den, located in an abandoned cistern nearby. There, Zira the Guildmaster will explain everything to you. The player makes their way to the den where you meet with Zira, the newly appointed Guildmaster. She says that Quen sent the Thieves Guild a letter stating she was going to steal the skull that must have been intercepted by the Iron Wheel. Realizing you would be arrested, she sent Walk Softly to rescue you. Unfortunately, you soon learn that the Thieves Guild is in a bit of a rough spot. You see Zira and her crew are coming off a failed heist where many of their members died, including the last Guildmaster Nicholas. In said heist, the guild entered the family tomb of a local noble, Magnifica Flora. They planned on stealing her dowry, which was worth a fortune. However, the heist went terribly wrong, and everyone there died except for Zira. Now, to punish the Thieves Guild, Magnifica Flora has hired the Iron Wheel, a mercenary group, in an attempt to destroy the guild once and for all. As you might have guessed, the Thieves Guild is desperate for new members, so Zira offers you the chance to officially join, and you gladly accept. For your first job with the guild, Zira has a task for you. She believes someone tipped off the Iron Wheel that it was the Thieves Guild who attempted to steal Magnifica Flora's dowry. Zira wants you to find out who it was, and she has a suspect in mind. A dark elf named Velsa retired from the Thieves Guild Council right before the heist, and the timing has made Zira a bit suspicious. So you and Zira head off to talk to her and see if she is indeed responsible. However, you quickly realize she wasn't involved when you find an Iron Wheel messenger who has an arrest warrant for Velsa outside her house. Zira hates Velsa, but she says she needs her help to restore and save the guild. You head off to warn Velsa of the Iron Wheel and take the arrest warrant to her. So after sneaking through her house, you find her and a merchant named Silverclaw. After some convincing, Velsa says if you help her with a favor, she'll go to the Thieves' Den and see what Zira has to say about rejoining the guild. The player agrees and asks what the favor is. It turns out the Khajiit merchant Silverclaw, a friend of the Thieves Guild, needs some help. His warehouse has been taken over by a merchant lord named Kosh. He wants you and Velsa to recover the ledger in his warehouse so that his illegal dealings aren't exposed. You and Velsa do just that and return to the Thieves' Den together. And after a bit of convincing, Velsa reluctantly comes out of retirement and rejoins the guild. Zira is glad to have Elsa back in the guild, but the fact that this merchant Lord Kosh took over Silverclaw's warehouse concerns her. It's not the first time she's heard of this Kosh, and she's afraid he's trying to take over the rackets that the Thieves Guild used to control. In the Thieves Guild, information is power, so Zira sends you, Walk Softly, and Quen to see if you can learn anything else about this Kosh. After spying on a few of his known clients, you find out that Kosh is working with the Iron Wheel. He appears to be blackmailing low-level criminals and forcing them to meet him at the Iron Wheel headquarters for unknown reasons. Knowing there's only one way to figure out why, you and Velsa head off to the Iron Wheel headquarters known as No Shira Citadel. Once inside, you eavesdrop on a meeting Kosh is having with a group of slavers and skooma dealers. He's forcing them to work for him, and if they don't, he threatens to turn them into the Iron Wheel. After Kosh's first meeting ends, you follow him to another where he talks with the leaders of the Iron Wheel. Kosh explains that their presence in Hews Bane is simply bad for business, and wants to make a deal with them. He says that he can return Magnifica Flori's dowry to the Iron Wheel if they leave Hews Bane for good. The Iron Wheel says they'll leave as soon as they have the dowry because that's what they were hired by Magnifica Flora to do in the first place. Having gathered all the information you need, the player escapes from the headquarters and returns to the Thieves' Den. Once there, you explain everything you learned to Zira. She's extremely confused that Kosh promised to get Magnifica Flori's dowry, because as far as she knows, it's still in the tomb. The heist failed, and Nicholas and the others died before they reached the treasure vaults to even steal the dowry. For now, Zira needs time to make sense of everything, but one thing is clear: Kosh is trying to gain power and influence in Abaz Landing by working with the Iron Wheel. Sometime later, Zira comes to you. She needs to find out why Kosh promised to give the Iron Wheel a dowry, because the Thieves Guild never actually stole it, and she suspects someone else did and is now blaming the guild. Her plan is to go back to the family tomb that used to hold the dowry, see if it's missing, and if it is, look for evidence of who took it. Although considering many guild members and the guild master died last time they attempted the heist, it is an admittedly dangerous decision. And things don't start out well because the guild arrives at the tomb and it's crawling with Iron Wheel enforcers. However, the player sneaks past them and makes it safely inside the tomb. You adventure through the deadly traps until you reach an infamous section known as Moloch's Path. Zira somberly tells you that halfway through Moloch's Path is where Nicholas and her guildmates were overrun with undead and died during the previous heist. Careful not to make the same mistake twice, the guild slowly crosses the path and defeats the undead lurking along the way. To Zira's shock, when you reach the other side, you find Nicholas's lantern. But that seems impossible because Zira was sure he had died halfway through Moloch's Path with the others. Zira can't figure it out, but for now, you keep moving in hopes that you'll find answers further in the tomb. After solving a few more puzzles and fighting a Lakad that kills anyone without Aldenobian blood, you finally reach the treasure vault. But inside you find no treasure at all. The dowry is missing, and more than that, there's proof that Nicholas survived the heist and claimed the treasure for himself. The one thing you do find is a secret map that helps Zira uncode Nicholas's secret hideouts in the desert. And with no time to waste, you and Zira head straight there. Inside the hideout you find notes from Kosh, a disguise kit, and most damning of all, a crystal filled with Aldenobian blood. Putting it all together, you realize Nicholas had a crystal filled with Aldenobian blood, so the tomb's protectors wouldn't attack him. It's clear he faked his own death, stole the dowry, and is now working with Kosh. For now, you head back to the den, where Zira vows to find Nicholas and Kosh and make both of them pay for what they did.
I told the guild about Nicholas betraying us. Walk Softly took it in stride. Quen gave me a hug and Elsa walked off without a word. All in all, better than expected. The Iron Wheel is a hurricane that blew into port and smashed everything in its path. Nicholas and Kosh are the ones who set it in motion. Now, we learn what they hold most dear. Then we take it from them.
A few days later, you're informed that Magnifica Flora is getting married. Kosh supposedly found the dowry, and because of that, she's agreed to marry him. Of course, it's more likely Nicholas gave Kosh the dowry as they're working together. They're obviously working towards a common goal, but it's not clear yet what that is. However, Zero plans on ruining whatever they're scheming by crashing the wedding. She thinks if Magnifica Flora learns the truth of who she's going to marry, she'll turn the Iron Wheel on Kosh and Nicholas as revenge for stealing the dowry and tricking her. Silverclaw, the Khajiit merchant, helps you steal an invitation. You can only bring one guest with you, so you'll have to choose between Velsa, Quen, or Walk Softly. After choosing a guest and dressing in the appropriate wedding attire, you arrive at the wedding, and after causing a bit of a distraction, you help Zero sneak in as well. The first event of the wedding ceremony is for the groom to be presented to the guests. Kosh walks out in front of his guests and politely thanks them for coming. It is then that Zero realizes the shocking truth. She recognizes Kosh as her former guildmaster Nicholas. Kosh and Nicholas aren't working together, but rather are the same person. For whatever reason, Nicholas betrayed the guild, faked his own death, stole the dowry, and is now marrying a powerful Tanith noble. Obviously, Zero is enraged and shocked. Frustrated, she realized Nicholas must have been planning this for years and betrayed the guild to gain status and wealth. Still, besides this curveball, you still have to continue your plan, find Magnifica Flora, and tell her the truth. After sneaking through her mansion, you find her preparing for the ceremony. Zero then tells her that Kosh is lying, that he's really the former guildmaster of the Thieves Guild and is the very person who stole her dowry. Understandably, Magnifica Flora is distrustful towards the Thieves Guild and doesn't believe you. She says she needs to see proof, and given that the ceremony starts within the hour, it doesn't seem likely you'll be able to find it. But Zero says Nicholas always kept souvenirs from his heist, and may have one from the Aldenobian tomb in his chambers. So after some searching, you find Nicholas's hidden room, and he does in fact have a souvenir from the dowry heist. He took Magnifica Flora's ancestors' remains and kept them for himself. That will be enough evidence to prove Nicholas's guilt. Zero heads back to tell Magnifica Flora, but tells you and your guests to go find Nicholas and confront him. By the time you reach Nicholas, the wedding ceremony has already begun. But not before long, Zero and Magnifica Flora interrupt the proceedings and confront Nicholas. Enraged at learning that her fiancé is the very person who desecrated her family tomb, Magnifica Flora demands everyone attending the wedding be arrested by the Iron Wheel and interrogated. All you can do is watch as the Iron Wheel takes Zero and Nicholas into custody, and knowing there's nothing else you can do, you and your guests barely escape the clutches of the Iron Wheel yourselves and return to the Thieves' Den.
Stop! There is no honor in this union.
Guards!
Zero? You're alive? That is... What is the meaning of this?
More importantly, why do you have the desecrated remains of my ancestor?
The Iron Wheel is approaching. We have to leave now.
There must be some mistake.
Chief Inspector Ronbeek, take everyone into custody. I want this mess sorted.
No! It's too late, Vazira. We need to go now.
With the dowry back in Magnifica Flora's control, and with Nicholas and Zero in custody, the Iron Wheel has accomplished what they were hired to do and are now leaving Hews Bane for good. Zero is scheduled to be sent to Tanith and stand trial for raiding the Aldenobia tomb. Of course, you and the guild cannot let this happen. For now, she's being held at No Shira Citadel, and Hews Bane and the Thieves Guild begins to plan a prison break. Walk Softly is going to be disguised as an Iron Wheel soldier, Quen is going to scout ahead, and Velsa is going to make a distraction to help you sneak in. The plan is fairly simple. You and Walk Softly will sneak into the Citadel. After that, you will plant evidence that shows Nicholas is responsible for the dowry heist in the Chief Inspector's office. The Inspector will find it, and Nicholas will have to face his crimes at trial instead of Zero. And after that, you'll free Zero and escape. So you head to the Inspector's office, where surprisingly you find Magnifica Flora. She says Nicholas has been cooperative with the Iron Wheel, and convinced him that Zero is the one who's truly responsible for the tomb heist. Magnifica Flora says she knows he's guilty, but there isn't enough evidence against him. Conveniently, you brought lots of evidence of his crimes. You give them to Magnifica Flora, and in return she tells you where to find Zira. You and your guildmates head off to rescue her. But while searching the cells, you find Nicholas, who wants to speak with you. The player demands he tell you where Zira is, and he agrees as long as you give him a lockpick so he has a chance to free himself. It's up to the player, and either way he'll soon tell you Zira has been loaded onto a ship to be sent to Teneth. Once you arrive on the ship, you find the Chief Inspector interrogating her. Belsa is quick to knock him unconscious, and you set Zira free along with the other thieves locked up on the ship. You all escape on rowboats and head back to the thieves' den. With only Nicholas still in custody, he will stand trial and be held responsible for the dowry heist, or so you thought. Weeks later, Zira asked to speak with you at a local tavern. Magnifica Flora has told Zira that the Iron Wheel's ship hit a storm and that the waves swept the prisoners away. They've lost Nicholas and he won't be able to stand trial for his crimes. They don't believe that's actually what happened, and they don't think he's dead, so Zira wants you to track him down and do with him what you see fit. You gather information that shows that Nicholas is now living with a high elf widow somewhere in Morrowind and has taken up a new career as a painter. Their plan is to get married and live a peaceful life together. Knowing you have unfinished business, the player takes a rowboat to his estate. There you find his wife, who refers to Nicholas by the name of Vantis. She kicks you out of the house, but you quickly sneak your way back in. But this time, instead of meeting his wife, you come face to face with Nicholas. He admits his grand plan was to control all trade in Hews Bane, and he didn't feel like he could do that while leading the guild. Nicholas says he knew you would eventually find him, but pleads with the player that he's a changed man and just wants to live his life in peace with his new wife. It's now up to the player. You can choose to kill him, you can tell his wife his true identity and she will leave him and report his crimes to Tanith, or you can leave Nicholas to live the rest of his life as Vantis the painter and take mercy on him. It's a hard choice, but after making your decision, you'll report back to Zira. She'll thank you for taking care of the problem, and with that, the Thieves Guild Questline comes to a close. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry it took so long to make. Right now, the future of the channel is a little up in the air. I am deploying soon with the army, so I'll be gone overseas for about a year, if not more. So that makes making videos hard, so it probably will be a while until there's new content on the channel. But I do intend to make more videos when I do come back, and I just want to say, for over the last 5 years, I'm so thankful for everyone that stuck with me and watched my content, left a comment, or subscribed. It really means so much, and hopefully I can do that again in about a year once I'm back home. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked the video, make sure you leave it a like. If you guys want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Thank you as always, and I'll see you in the next one.